Probably not, just
Okay.
because, yeah, I've never really enjoyed that side of it. I, of course, would love to, help out and, with my experience and stuff like that, but never really as a job, you know.
Joining us this morning is a former Martinsville Lady Mustang, Texas Women's University pioneer, Jada Celsur. Jada, what's going on? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about this season. So I got some stats from my man Jake, and he is shout out to Jake. He did it. He did a good job. But I want to read some of these stats off to you of your career because you were a senior at TWU, just wrapped up your final college basketball season there. So I want to get some notes here. Um, you're the winningest 4-year player in TWU NCAA history. So I didn't know if you knew that or not, but a career record of 124 and 15, four straight LSC championships, three straight tournament championships, a South Central Regional Championship, national runner up. You are ninth all time with 1,102 points, 484 rebounds, sixth all time with 309 assists, second all time, 181 steals, just three away from first, and then blocks, you got 50. I just read off a ton of numbers and a ton of stats, but Jada, when you reflect kind of on your 4-year career here at Texas Women's, what is kind of the thing that sticks out to you?
Bill Dickinson Chevrolet is making car buying easy with employee pricing. That's right, employee pricing available only at Bill Dickinson Chevrolet or online at bdchevy.com. Log on to bdchevy.com and then go visit them in Gladewater, Texas, where you can work with a non-commissioned salesperson. With their transparent sales process and non-commissioned salespeople, Bill Dickinson Chevrolet is saving East Texans thousands, one deal at a time. BD Chevy has something for everyone.
I would say if I could just say one word, I would say family. Like choosing a college to go to coming out of high school, I really just wanted like a family atmosphere. And that is the first thing I got when I went to TWU, and it just grew every year. And then finishing out my last season there, all of those people are just like sisters to me. The coaches are like parents to me. And yeah, I would just say it's just like a family over there.
And you, like you said, you've been there 4 years now. So take me back to that coming out of Martins Mill and going to Denton for the first time and kind of going away from home. Take me back to that moment as a freshman to that experience of stepping onto the college campus for the first time.
It's a lot for sure, especially coming from a 2A school in East Texas, but just even with the experience of stepping into a bigger city like Denton, the coaches there make you feel like you're at home every single day. We always had an open door policy with our coaches, so anything you needed, anytime you needed it, they were there for you. And the team was always just like sisters, so they were always there for you, always willing to help, like the upperclassmen with freshmen. It's a lot stepping out into that, but they were always just there, willing to help with whatever you needed.
Well, and that it does sound like a very family-oriented place, which makes it easy,
Mhm.
especially coming from a small school like Martins Mill. And I do want to ask you about that. Did you keep up with the team this year? Do you still follow the girls and how they're doing while you're at TWU?
Oh yeah, always, especially because my mom still works at the school, and then my brother-in-law is the assistant coach for the men's team. So always have family ties with Martinsville.
Okay, great. Well, I want to ask you about Martins Mill and growing up in Ben Wheeler and going to Martins Mill. What was that experience like for you? I mean, it's Ben Wheeler, you talk about family oriented, right? And like a small community like a Martins Mill community is a very family oriented atmosphere, which I think may have helped you decide on TWU because it kind of was that same thing. But tell me
Mhm.
about your time at Martins Mill and how it was playing for the Lady Mustangs.
I think it's definitely that's very rare to have in a high school experience. I always grew up. I'd been going to Martinsville since first grade, so I grew up in that community. Watched my sisters play for the Lady Mustangs. Watched how they just won every single year. Always had a winning record. And when I finally got to that place where I could be in the same position, my freshman year, we ended up winning state. And that was unfortunately the only year that I won it, but we went back two more times of my high school career. And it's just an experience that only prepared me so much for moving into the college atmosphere of basketball, but it also just showed me what it's like to win and what it's like to win all the time and um, what it comes with pressure, but it also shows you how to handle pressure like that in that sense. So,
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because Texas Women's this year had a 30-game win streak. So ended the season 31-2, but a 30-game win streak in that season. And so you're talking about that pressure and winning and being used to winning. Do you think that playing in those big games at Martins Mill, obviously playing at the state stage, and almost it seems like every game that Martins Mill plays is a big game because you're getting everybody's best shot. So do you think playing in those big games in high school kind of helped you, especially the senior year, playing in these big games, going on that long 30-game win streak? Do you think that helped with the atmosphere and the pressure?
oh, absolutely. And just like whenever we get in positions like that, I mean, what a blessing it is to be in that position, to have a target on your back all the time and to get everybody's best game. That's definitely a position you want to be in and not one that you see any negative with. But it definitely just prepares you for situations like that and reminds you to just, take one game at a time. Like you can't tackle a whole conference in one thing. So just reminding you to just live in the moment like you're in and it is surreal, especially now that I'm done and looking back on it, but yeah, definitely had prepared me for stepping into a winning school like TWU was.
Yeah, for sure. You're already used to it. The losing doesn't feel right, and that's a good thing. That's what you want. I want to ask you about this past season. Like you said, you from your freshman year to senior year progressed, got better each and every year. I think you would agree with that. And then ended this season averaging 11 points and 4 rebounds per game. Just take me back through this year, your senior year. What do you think? When you look back at your senior year, what are you going to look at, and kind of where do you think your game progressed the most these last 4 years?
I would say what I'm gonna look back most on this year is just the team. Like, we knew that going into this year it was gonna be a little different considering we had graduated 4 of our 5 starters my junior year. So honestly, there wasn't any pressure going into this season because you're like, oh, we just get to play. And honestly, that's a great feeling because you just get to show up and you really have nothing to lose. So it's like you just get to go out there and play your hardest and see what happens. And thankfully, we had an amazing season. But yeah, I would say that personally for me, my playing and just the way I progressed, I would say that this last season was definitely my biggest jump. And just because, like, I stepped into the role of a team captain, leading our transfers, but also the people that had been there for a while and our freshmen coming in. I think that just allowed me to see it in a different light and also trusting myself a little bit more with that role, and not putting as much pressure as you would think is being a team captain and a senior on the court, a 4-year veteran. But I think just relaxing and like knowing that I'd worked hard for all that was ahead of me.
Was it difficult for you to kind of get into that role of team captain and be? I mean, I'm sure you've been a leader, before, but was it difficult to kind of get that role and be more vocal?
Um, a little bit, I would say, just because I'm more of a shy person and kind of like let my game do my talking in a sense. I'm not one to be talking much out there, but definitely just seeing the people ahead of me and even in high school, just seeing the seniors that were ahead of me and learning from them and seeing how they led with their voice and just stepping into that role and allowing myself to be confident in it.
Well, what's next for you, Jada? Are you graduating in May, I'm assuming, and then I think you're majoring in kinesiology, if I read that correctly on the website. So, what's next for you, Jada? What's next for you?
Well, I actually graduated with my undergrad in 3 years. So last year I
Okay,
graduated with my undergrad. So
congratulations.
thank you. So this year I am completing my master's in adapted physical activity. So I will officially be done with that in August. So I still have a few more classes in the summer. So I'm just, applying for jobs, which is crazy to say, and just praying and seeing where the Lord wants me to be. So,
Do you
but
want to
right now,
get?
moved back home, so I'm back in Martinsville.
Okay, so
So,
you're back in Martinsville. Okay, cool, cool. So, is coaching something you've ever thought about or that you want to get into?
probably not, just
Okay.
because, yeah, I've never really enjoyed that side of it. I, of course, would love to, help out and, with my experience and stuff like that, but never really as a job, you know.
I,
Maybe
I
a
didn't
hobby, but not a job.
I didn't know if you'd already given a call to Coach Bruce and said, Coach, I'm coming home to get on the staff. I didn't know if that was there or not. But well, Jada, I appreciate you hopping on. One last thing I want to ask you before I let you get out of here, and then we'll be done. The community support, because I know we when we do the stories and post about you, people are commenting, "Go Jada, we love it," all that. So, do you see those? Do you feel that support, and what does that community support mean to you?
Oh, absolutely. I see all that stuff on like Facebook and social media and stuff, but it's just a sense of home, like far away or not super far away, but further away than I had ever had been. Just knowing that people are still following along and supporting me and doing what I love and just seeing that it just brings a special place in my heart for sure.
Well, it's awesome. It was a joy to follow you this year, keep up with your season. It was fun to watch. So, congratulations on all the success. Congratulations on getting your degree and then going for the Masters. That's awesome. So, welcome back to East Texas as well, and I hope the job search goes well. But Jada, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Of course. Thank you.
Next Level Digital Advertising has arrived. Grow your business with advanced solutions from one of the largest digital agencies in the country. East Texas Marketing Solutions is a resource for utilizing and executing advanced multi-platform marketing strategies. Discover more at easttexasmarketingsolutions.com. During this offseason for football, we had 16 coaching openings in East Texas. As we near the end of March, all but 2 of those positions have been filled. So let's take a look at the coaching changes this offseason for football. White House and Kyle Westerberg parted ways after 5 seasons and 3 playoff appearances. They hired Frisco Lone Star offensive coordinator Brett Gilchrist as head football coach on December 22nd. Center will be on their 3rd head coach in 3 seasons after Nick Brown announced he would not be returning. Center hired Jack Alvarez, who led Ennis to a state title in 2014 and led Kirbyville to a pair of state title games. Now, Mineola made a change in leadership. Luke Blackwell, who had served as the AD and head football coach from 2017 to 2022 and 2024 to 2025, he moves into an administrative role, and the Yellow Jackets hired former Denton Braswell head coach and Rockwall Heath offensive coordinator Cody Moore on February 23rd. Mike Ludlow stepped down after leading White Oak for 3 seasons. The Roughnecks named San Angelo Grape Creek head football coach Tanner Thiel as their new head AD and head football coach on January 27th. And Blake Worley is not returning to Hughes Springs after picking up 7 wins in 2 seasons. The Mustangs hired Reno Moore, who opened the New Caney Porter football program in 2010 and served as the head football coach for 6 seasons, but has not coached since 2015. Now down in Garrison, Brandon Alvarez resigned after 6 seasons to join his dad over at center. Alvarez went 47-24 in 6 seasons and made a regional final in 2023. Garrison named Kerry Thurwanger as their next head coach. Thurwanger retired in 2023 after leading Timpson to a state title. He has a record of 185-83 in 22 seasons as a head coach. Brandon Lane stepped down at Hemp Hill after 2 seasons with a 2-18 record. Kuntz offensive coordinator Nathan Byerly was named AD and head football coach on February 10th. Alto ISD decided to part ways with Brock Grigsby, who led the Yellow Jackets for 4 seasons with a 17-23 record. Alto named Mount Enterprise head coach Scott Ponder as their new AD and head football coach. And speaking of Mount Enterprise, Ponder left there after 4 seasons and led the Wildcats to their best season in school history last year. And Mount Enterprise nabbed Weatherford assistant coach Daniel Davis as their new head football coach on February 23rd. Lovelady is also making a change after 7 seasons. Will Kirchhoff is leaving after compiling a 65-21 record. Defensive coordinator Jim Bird was promoted to AD and head football coach on March 9th. Tenaha brought back a familiar face into the fold. Marlon Birdsong stepped away after 2 seasons, and the Tigers hired Terry Ward as their new head football coach. Ward has a career record of 108-61, and it's his third stint in Tenaha after leading the Tigers to a state title in 2011. Kendrick Crumedy led his alma mater of Jasper for 4 seasons before leaving for Fort Bend Travis. Jasper hired Colleen Shoemaker head coach Toby Foreman on March 24th. And earlier this week, Nacogdoches removed the interim tag from Jay Brown and named him the AD and head football coach after Darby House left in February after spending 3 years in NAC. And Winona ISD announced the hiring of Charles Moss. Kenneth Cook led Winona the last 2 seasons but accepted a new role within the district, and Moss was previously the defensive coordinator for Tyler Legacy. Now, we still have 2 positions that are open, Westwood and Sabine. Richard Bishop left Westwood earlier this year after 8 seasons and a 44-43 record. Cody Gilbert resigned from Sabine after 4 seasons. So make sure you download the Red Zone app, and we'll keep you updated with all the local high school football news. 2 East Texas Cowboys came home with massive paydays after their performances at Rodeo Houston. Now, van steer wrestler Holden Myers won his event and took home more than $70,000. In the first round, Myers finished 6th to win $250, and then he won the second round with a run of 4.0 seconds to win $3,000. In the semifinals, Myers tied for first to win an additional $2,500, and then in the finals, Myers finished 3rd to qualify for the shootout, and he won the shootout with a 4-second run to win $65,000. His grand total in Houston was $70,750. Big congrats to Holden Myers. Now, he wasn't the only Cowboy to win big, though. Mount Pleasant tie-down roper Kincaid Henry won more than $27,000. In the first round, Henry finished first to win $3,000. In the second round, Henry finished tied for 3rd to win $875. And then in the third round, Henry won again to grab another $3,000. And in the finals, Henry came in 2nd place to qualify for the shootout, which he finished 3rd with a time of 7.3 seconds to win $20,000. And his grand total in Houston was $27,625. So big congrats to Kincaid Henry as well. Now, interviews with both Holden and Kincaid are on our website at KLTV or KTRE.com. So make sure you go and check those out. Thanks for joining us on East Texas Sports Now. We'll catch you next time.